If we get individuals to settle in on the seats that we have on the floor here, if we get everybody on the side, take a seat. My name is Steve Brunner. I'm with KOM Sports, partners with Medalist Sports. We're the event management team and marketing team for the event. And we're working with the Sports and Entertainment Corp of Maryland, led by Terry Hasseltine. Today's program will be announcing the overall course map. We'll also be featuring some of the teams that were announced last week. And before we kick that off, I want to show a video of what can be expected on September 4th on the streets of Baltimore County and Baltimore here in Maryland. Audio. Oh. Wouldn't be a press conference without a audio glitch, right? As we're getting the video together, just a little bit of history of international cycling. In 1985, the first professional national championships were held right here in the Inner Harbor. In 1989, 1990, in the Inner Harbor, there was an event called the Tour de Trump. In 1991 through 96, there was an event called the Tour de Pont, which ran through Maryland, Baltimore, as well as Baltimore County. And so there's a rich history of the sport at an elite level. And the Maryland Classic, now a little bit back to the future, but moving forward, this is going to be the top event in the U.S. For 2022, and we're happy to announce that today. Hopefully that gets everybody motivated to get on their bike. I'd like to introduce the dais members. Baltimore Mayor, Brandon Scott. Director of Economic Development for Baltimore County, Leonard Howie. Maryland Secretary of Commerce, Michael Gill. Our presenting sponsor from United Healthcare, the Mid-Atlantic CEO, Joe Acapinti. The event chair and also the Chief Strategy Officer for Kelly Benefit Strategies, John Kelly. The President of the Sports and Entertainment Corp of Maryland, and their President, Terry Hasseltine. And Event Manager, President, and Founder of Medalist Sports, Chris Aaronholt. At this time, I'd like to call on Terry.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to join us for this very exciting announcement today. This has been a long time coming, a lot of blood, sweat equity going into this great opportunity. I'd like to take a moment to recognize a few folks. As you know, this event was supposed to kick off about 3 years ago, but the pandemic hit, and therefore we had to postpone twice. But there's some people who stuck through this with us thick and thin to make sure that we got to this day of announcing the route which the athletes will compete on the 4th of September in 2022, the partnerships that have been forged over the course of the last couple of years, the relationship development that has occurred is second to none. We are going to showcase the city of Baltimore, the county of Baltimore, and the state of Maryland through professional cycling like no other group can. The top-rated professional cycling event in the United States will be happening right here on the streets of Baltimore City, Baltimore County, and the state of Maryland. You couldn't ask for a better opportunity to expose the cycling community to world-class racing, but it's also bigger than that. It's bigger about being a collective whole together to ensure that the city, the county, and the state unify under one umbrella to ensure that we deliver world-class destination and a world-class experience with world-class people. I'd like to take this moment to recognize a few key people. United Healthcare. Joe, your team, both here in the Mid-Atlantic as well as the national office in Minnesota, have been nothing but champions to help us get to this day. I cannot thank you enough for sticking with us, as we postponed, and here we are today to celebrate this event in your company. Thank you so much for all the work you've done. To his right is John Kelly. When you ask for a chairman of a cycling event, is there anyone else you would get but John Kelly? John is an avid cyclist. He is a warrior. I would describe him as that. John does not take no for an answer. John says, how do we make it happen? How do we get it done? And he's been there pushing myself, Chris, and Steve, and others to make sure that we get across the finish line on this thing. So John, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for the work you're doing. But really the backbone to this entire thing is a collaboration between the state of Maryland, the city of Baltimore, and Baltimore County. You're going to see the beautiful trains of what makes Maryland so beautiful through the county, and then you're going to come into what will be probably one of the most urban cycling events that you'll ever see in racing. So thank you to our 3 public partners, thank you to our 2 private partners, and we're really excited about what's to come. As many of you know, the Sport and Entertainment Corporation of Maryland has made some pretty big announcements in recent weeks. Last week, you saw the teams announced for this race. That's just a small portion of the teams. You also saw that we are behind the Baltimore, Maryland 2026 and Washington, D.C. 26 merger to bring the World Cup to the capital region. That is huge. You add this plus that, Baltimore, Maryland is your new epicenter of sports, international sports. Then on top of that, you add on the Maryland 5-Star, which Secretary Gill has been critical in helping us bring to fruition up in Cecil County. 3 of the largest international sports events on the Eastern Seaboard happen right here in Maryland. 2 of them will happen right here in Baltimore City, and the other one happening out in the rural part of the state. We are extremely excited to be the point on this opportunity. I want to thank KOM and Medalist for their work to date. Our team, our staffs have all put a lot of time and energy into that. So before we get into this, let me give you a lay of what the weekend will look like. Thursday, we're calling it Community Day. On Community Day, that is Thursday, going back, that's the 1st? Yes, the 1st. We will be hosting a bike jam, a community activation, bike safety, helmet awareness, cycling awareness. It will be a gathering of the community coming together. We'll be getting into the schools and bringing the bikes to schools. We'll be bringing programs into the community so that people can touch, feel, and get on a bike. There are a lot of people who deserve the opportunity to get on a bike, and we're going to do that on Thursday. Friday is the team introduction. We'll be introducing the 17 teams that will be riding in Sunday's event. That location will be determined here in the near future. And then Saturday is a big day. Up in the county, we'll be having the Bridges of Hope Ride, our charity event associated with the Maryland Cycling Classic, led by our chairman, John Kelly, and all the folks that make up this great event, followed by the Night of Champions, where we'll be bringing in athletes, current and past, to talk about how sports, how athletics, how cycling has impacted their lives and the like, and celebrate what we're going to see and witness on Sunday. And then obviously Sunday, out in front of Kelly Benefits, about 1 o'clock, the race will take off. And then about 4-something-ish, they'll be coming into the city for a little bit of time here in the city, riding multiple circuits, and finishing right here on the streets of Baltimore. So it's going to be an exciting weekend. A lot of things still to come together, but we're really pleased and excited about our partnerships, both public and private. And now I get the honor of, Mr. Kelly and I unveiling the event poster. Can I have Mike Gill, the mayor, Joe, and Lenny right up here in front of the podium? You can be right up in front of the podium, flanking it so the thing's in the middle, along with you. Yep.
The state plays such an important role in an event like this because of the course and the cooperation we need at so many different levels. We have Secretary Gill here to talk on behalf of the state.
Thank you.
What I want to know is, anybody have any notes planned that Terry didn't already cover? We could probably shorten all these talks. And when you unveiled the poster up here, I leaned over to the mayor and said, "What kind of bell do you have on your bike?" I said, "Why don't we get in this thing? If we get a handicap, everything's possible." Is there a handicap system for this? There we go. I will admit, when I first walked in, I thought, has to be a press conference for one of two things. Either the Orioles are bringing up Adley Rutschman, or it's something about the draft coming up with the Ravens. And Johnny said, Mike, this is the cycling thing that we got going on. They wouldn't have this many people for the Ravens draft, but this is fantastic. There's an expression that I have always loved: best is the standard. That's what we do in Maryland. If we can't be the best, why put all the effort into it? Why put the effort into a Maryland 5-star that successfully launched last fall? The effort that Terry and Lieutenant Governor and many others have been putting forth to bring a World Cup here in 2026? And this event that we're talking about is at the same level of these kind of incredible events. That's what Best is a Standard is all about. As far as the state of Maryland, I mean, one of the beautiful things is when we have something in Maryland like this, they get a chance to taste all of the other great things that are in Maryland. That's why this matters. I mean, the race will be the race. There'll be a winner, there'll be losers. It'll have a begin, it'll have an end, but tens of thousands of people will experience Maryland and experience this region, which I'm biased. I'm a Baltimore County kid. I'm here with my Baltimore City buddy. We're biased. We think this is the best place in the whole state. So don't let that word get up to Western Maryland or Southern Maryland, because I'm supposedly the state economic development director, not Baltimore County. That's Leonard's job. But I think that's one of the beautiful things when you have these big time events, is people get to experience our great state and then come back again. And as Terry said, you can't do it without the help of United and Kelly and Associates and many other important sponsors to make this such a successful event. And I'll just wrap up again by saying, I love that expression, best is the standard. You know, bring the event to this state, put 110% in it, and all the wonderful things that Terry and many others envisioned when we said, let's do this. And John, he's been driving it from the beginning because he's a dog. Johnny is a bear. If he gets focused on something, get out of the way, because it's going to happen. So again, congratulations to all of you that made this happen, and it's going to be an incredible fall in Maryland. So John, thank you for everything, and all the rest of the team. Thank you.
I mentioned earlier an event called the Tour de Pont, which was here in the 90s, and it went through Baltimore County extensively during that time period. Beautiful roads is what I remember, and the cyclists remember from that event. Here to talk about the Start City, or the Start County, I guess in this case, Leonard Howie.
Good morning. Isn't this a beautiful morning? This is a long time coming, as was indicated, 3 years of stop and starting. It's so good for it to be here. Thank you all for all of the hard work that you put in. John, you and your team, just really above and beyond what we all would have expected. But thank you for bringing this world-class, truly world-class cycling event to the Baltimore region. We are proud to have the Maryland Cycling Classic kick off in Baltimore County. We're excited to welcome athletes from all over the world to see the real beauty of our incredible county. Now, like many of you today, I'm an actual cycling enthusiast myself. If I'm not on my road bike, my fitness bike, if I'm not on my stationary bike, I'm dreaming about being on bikes. So when this opportunity was presented that the county could play a partner in this, I couldn't have jumped on it faster. And just the team has been so great to work with, and so much looking forward to seeing this event really come to fruition. Now, I'm sure that all of the world-class athletes who are going to be participating in the event, all of the thousands, tens of thousands of spectators that we know will come to witness this event will truly appreciate all of the sights, all of the beauty that Baltimore County actually has to offer. We believe that we will find that the riders and the spectators will see some of the most beautiful areas in the entire state of Maryland. Now, we know that Baltimore City has a long and successful history of hosting world-class events, but we know that with an event of this magnitude, it's really going to help Baltimore County really position itself as a true international destination for outdoor athletic and recreational events. We couldn't be more proud to be partners here. We know that a lot of hard work and preparation went into this. We want to thank our county team that really helped to ensure that everything is playing out, from our public safety to our roads, transportation, public works departments. Extremely grateful for all of the hard work and commitment that they put into it. But what we know is that this will be an iconic event in the state of Maryland in the field of cycling for years to come. We know that that the Baltimore region is a premier destination for events like this, and we look forward to our continued partnership with everyone that you see here for all events, cycling, and other events moving forward. So thank you very much, and welcome.
An event of this magnitude, especially in an urban setting, is very difficult, but it doesn't happen without the cooperation of the mayor's office, administration, and the various agencies. Mayor Scott, can't thank you for your support enough, and to talk about the city's involvement, Mayor Brandon Scott.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here, and it's so great to be here for such a important and really long-awaited announcement. As Terry said, we know we had some stops and starts. Actually, the first time I met with Terry about the Maryland Cycling Classic, I was just the city council president, so that's how long we've been talking about this event. I want to start off by recognizing Terry and his team for what they do each and every day, but more importantly, what they're doing for this event that is bringing this to Baltimore and to Baltimore County. Also, it's always great, and you hear myself, the county executive, the governor, Secretary Gill, talk about partnerships between government levels and between jurisdictions, and you can see that clear in front on this event, working with our partners in the county, working with our partners at the state to bring this world-class event. And I know that my center, to the point guard that I am, the county executive, would be here, but they have a big event in Baltimore County right now. To our sponsors, thank you so much for believing in this event. John, thank you for always being you, and that's being someone who is proud of our city, proud of our region, and working to make sure that we are the best. Terry, I think the great prophet Ricky Bobby once said, if you're not first, you're last. And we are transforming Baltimore into a premier destination for all sorts of events, but especially sporting events. And we want our city, our region, to continue to be a place where everyone feels welcome and people from all over the world look forward to visiting. And we are advancing this by leaps and bounds. And we're here also, and thank you to Al Hutchison and the folks that visit Baltimore for what they do each and every day. Al and I are still on high from our wonderful, successful CIAA tournament a few months ago in Baltimore. And we are about to explode now onto the international sports team with the World Cup bid merger, with the Maryland Cycling Classic, with all these other great sporting events that we are bringing to Baltimore, because we know that no one does sports like Baltimore. We know that we can showcase the best of what our country has to offer for sports right here. And we're so excited that the city of Baltimore is not only a part of the Maryland Cycling Classic, but we are the final stop, which gives us an awesome opportunity to show off the vibrant and diverse neighborhoods. And just imagine those TV shots of the gleaming in the harbor and the wonderful buildings that have been built over many years, and folks standing there cheering, and what that's going to do for the city of Baltimore and where we want to take us. And it affords participants with an opportunity to enjoy everything our city has to offer, from our world-class restaurants to our great hospitality industry. And we are going to continue to work alongside our partners at the Maryland Cycling Classic to make sure that this event goes off without any hitches or glitches. And I am happy that we are the host city, and look forward to continuing to build these kind of relationships to have more and more and greater success for the city of Baltimore. And John, I might take you up on that offer for the handicap in the day before race. I ride my bike a little bit, so we'll see. Thank you, everybody.
Got to work on getting you a bike, Mayor Scott. I think that's going to do. All right. I'd like to also acknowledge our partners here at Visit Baltimore. They've been a great partner in sticking with us and through everything, and we look forward to their continued involvement. Our event chair, John Kelly, I'd like to bring him up. He has been a central driver and energy behind everything we're doing, not only on the fundraising side, but on the vision. John?
Thank you, Steve. It's good to be here today. I'm honored to be the chairman of this event. It hasn't been easy, but I think nothing good in life is easy, but it's rewarding when you stick to it. And I think cycling embodies a sport that requires tremendous discipline, tremendous commitment, and literally you get to the point where you just can't go any harder. And what I love about, that's one part I love about cycling, but I also love the reality that as advanced as we've become as a city, as a state, technology, healthcare, you name it, a human on a bicycle still remains the most efficient means of transportation, which is astounding, isn't it? It's essentially a combination of humanity and technology that creates efficiency. It's why Kelly Benefits has been supportive of cycling for 25 years. We believe that Kelly Benefits is nothing more than a combination of people and technology to create efficiency for the businesses we serve. So on behalf of my brothers, Frank, David, and Brian, who are here, my father, Frank, is here as well, we're grateful and honored to be premier sponsors of this event. And I want to take a moment to just thank, again, Joe and United Healthcare, who came to us from the beginning 2.5 years ago when I asked the CEO of United Health Group to come to the table. They came to the table. And that laid the foundation for us to get where we are. I want to thank Bill Paterakis and Harbor East and Tim for their support also from the beginning. I want to thank Jared Jedlicka and Thorne, Direct Pay, who have been here recently and stepped up at a high level. Thorne Nutrition, BGE has supported us. Athlos and Dave has been here from the beginning, and DMC Sport. These are our core partners that have gotten us where we are today, and we wouldn't be here without them. And I'm excited to be a part of that team. And the last thing I want to say is that one of the things you heard all the different events around this weekend. One of the things that excites me most is the opportunity to put a charity at the center of it on Saturday, with a ride starting at Kelly Benefits headquarters, where people like every one of us in this room can do this ride. Every single one of us can get on a bike and do this ride. There'll be a 31-mile ride and a 62-mile ride, and each of them will touch aspects of the course that these riders will be racing on. And it'll be an opportunity to raise money for the United Healthcare Children's Foundation and provide opportunities for children and their families who can't afford the care that they need. And we've been involved in that for a number of years. We call it the Bridges of Hope because we're going to pass over, I think it's like 52 bridges if you do the whole thing. And we recognize that together, each of us are bridges of hope. So I hope that you can all be a part of that. I hope that you can set aside Labor Day weekend, be here for the race, to see these athletes compete on the streets of Baltimore, and to raise the awareness of the goodness of our city, our county, and our state. I'm telling you, I've ridden the roads of Baltimore County my whole life. They're the most beautiful roads in the world. And I've ridden and raced my bike in Baltimore City on multiple occasions. It's a great place. It's our hometown, and we're thrilled to be behind this event. So thank you. And I want to take a moment to just introduce Joe Acapinte. Joe has been also with us from the beginning, the CEO of United Healthcare's Mid-Atlantic operation. And Joe's going to come up and say a few words. Thank you each for being here.
Well, first I got to say, John, as you mentioned, your entire family's here. And so my only curiosity is who is up in Hunt Valley running Kelly's shop right now? I mean, I saw Frank Sr. over there. Good to see you again. How are you? But I would just say, when I moved here, my wife and 2 kids, I've been with United Healthcare now about 20 years. We moved here about 3 years ago. Sorry, Mayor, I moved to Anne Arundel County, but we visit Baltimore County quite a bit in Baltimore City. But John and his family were so welcoming to United and to my family, and I want to thank you for that. And that's brought on more partnerships and more opportunities to invest in this great state. So thank you for that. So again, I want to thank City of Baltimore. I want to thank Mayor Scott. You have been through this. I know that we approached you even when you were a councilman and working through this, but to be able to stay through this process and get us to where we are today is so appreciative. So really, I'm here to just let you know, on behalf of our 8,000 United Healthcare employees in this region, we are privileged to be a part of this great event. We know that within this state and within this city, we are going to have a tremendous inaugural Maryland cycling event. Our mission at United Healthcare is to help people live healthier lives, and that stems off of staying healthy and staying active. And when you have the opportunity to bring a world-class event to the world-class city like Baltimore, United Healthcare, we are all in. We wanted to reaffirm our commitment to this race and stay through this process. But what we wanted to make sure is that we made it a free and public event, and that will be happening on September 4th. Last item, there's no doubt when you have the presence of elite cyclists, elite athletes, and those that can inspire individuals to get moving, to stay active, and be healthy. You think of a year when we had so many unforeseen challenges. The pandemic had us stop and start this conversation 2 years. But through it all, we know that this event is going to be terrific, and it embodies helping people live healthier lives. And so for that, we are proud to advance the progress and bring this cycling event to the city of Baltimore. So thank you.
Thanks, Joe. Batting cleanup here is Chris Ehrenholt. Medalist Sports has been the preeminent event managers for all the top U.S. pro cycling races over the years, from California now to the Maryland Cycling Classic. And Chris will take you through the dynamics of the race and the race course.
Bringing up the rear. Thank you. Good morning. My name is Chris Ehrenholt, owner and president of Medalist Sports. I appreciate everyone's time here today and energy as we unveil the exciting course details that's been long awaited for the Maryland Cycling Classic. During my career of almost 30 years in the sport, I'm a strong believer that the necessary ingredients to a successful and long-lasting project, such as the Maryland Cycling Classic, includes vision, leadership, and partnership. And I'm proud to share that we have all three in the room here today. As we've talked a lot about today, we've endured the challenges of the pandemic, but it's been a long few years of planning and resiliency. There's been so much anticipation and buildup, and today is a historic day for professional cycling in the United States. As John once shared with me on a tough day, and quoting Ralph Waldo Emerson, "Every great and commanding movement in the annals of the world is due to the triumph of enthusiasm. Nothing great is ever achieved without it." After today, I truly believe the best is yet to come, and we are so proud and thankful of the collaboration of our supportive partners, which together will highlight the beauty of the sport and create a positive and lasting impact for the community. I'd also like to thank and recognize our partners and our leaders, Terry Hasseltine and his team from Sport and Entertainment Corporation. Joe and your entire United Healthcare team has been fabulous. Thank you. Our chairman, John Kelly, thank you for your friendship. The governor's office in the state of Maryland, Mike in the Commerce Department, Department of Public Safety. Of course, Mr. Mayor, thank you for your entire team. I do want to recognize Ted Carter and Ron Stubblefield, Major Corbett, Toby Goodwin, and the entire team. You've been fantastic. Also, Baltimore County, County Executive Johnny Olszewski, Johnny O. We want to thank him, Sam O'Neill, Leonard Howie, and the entire team, as well as Al. Your team has been fantastic. As you can see, it takes a village, and we're just beginning the planning. For me personally, I have a lot of ties to the state and to the city. My parents actually were born and grew up in Cumberland, Maryland. My family went to Hopkins, tough loss over the weekend to Maryland and La Crosse, I saw. And I received my MBA from up the road at Mount St. Mary's College, so it's a privilege to be here and working on this project. Some quick background on Medalist Sports. I started as an intern in 1994, now the proud owner of the company. Personally, I've been involved in the sport for over 30 years and worked closely with Steve Brenner. We produce and have been involved in almost every major North American professional cycling event in the United States, both world championships and national championships. And we're most proud of our partnership with the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee, supporting the Paralympic athletes, as well as several cause-related programs and fundraising events. Now on to the basics of the Maryland Cycling Classic. Just a few reminders. As mentioned, it's a multi-jurisdictional effort. Also involves public-private partnerships. Our objectives as a group is to produce a world-class, safe event, quality experience for all key stakeholders, focus on community and engagement as well as diversity, promote health and wellness, create positive impact, and to inspire all those that we touch, and to highlight and share with others the best that the state, the county, and the city has to offer. As shared, the Maryland Cycling Classic is the highest ranked cycling event in the United States. That's saying a lot for not even hosting the event yet. So that goes to the credibility of all involved and our vision and the leadership. It's a one-day classic patterned after legendary events, which many have just occurred, Paris-Roubaix and Amstel Gold, the classics, called the Classics, which just happened in Europe, as well as World Championships. So this would be a one-day event. Teams are invite only and will represent an international and diverse field of 17 teams, collectively over 115 athletes, including many Tour de France riders and national champions. As shared, the Maryland Cycling Classic is a free event for spectators. Not too many sporting events can say that. And based on previous events, we are definitely expecting tens of thousands of spectators to come from the Mid-Atlantic, from throughout the United States, and also internationally. We also have plans for live broadcasts with viewers from over 100 countries. We'll incorporate over 1,000 volunteers that day as course marshals and community ambassadors on game day. And just our entourage size is over 600 individuals, creating an immediate economic impact for the city and the county. The best way to describe the Maryland Cycling Classic, as I'm learning, is Preakness on wheels. Just our field of play is much larger than the course that you have here within the city. And our goal is to build a tradition of international competition, community engagement, combined with Maryland hospitality. So now, the drum roll and the important stuff, the course, and thank you for your patience. As we know, it's Labor Day weekend. It's a professional men's event, which will start in Baltimore County and finish along the Inner Harbor in Baltimore City. It's a point-to-point event of over 120 miles. We do have the course now coming up on the screen. The route itself is over 120 miles. Over 70 are in Baltimore County, combined with over 50 within the city limits. The approximate start time will be at 1:30 p.m. On that Sunday, with the approximate finish time of 6 o'clock. The official start location will be at Kelly Benefits headquarters in Sparks, and the official finish line location will be on East Pratt Street. A lot of work went into the inaugural route. It's a combination of the beauty and challenging terrain of the county, along with the fast racing technical turns of the city. As we've had a few pro riders ride and drive the route already, and I think the best quote was, "There's nowhere to hide." So once the gun goes off, there'll be fast pacing, and it's a great strategy to make their way down into the city. The upper course in the county, as you see, is defined by the Pretty Boy Reservoir, with the course descending and ascending from the lake several times as it winds its way around the 80 square mile lake. Among the many beautiful estates and farms they pass will be historic Sagamore Farms. Once the race crosses Falls Road, riders will face more open, rolling terrain, and the winds will become a factor. After 75 miles into the race, riders will turn onto Falls Road, reaching speeds of up to 35 miles an hour towards downtown Baltimore in the circuits. Falls Road features the only straight section of the race, as the rolling, descending straightaways will allow the race to go full gas towards circuit entry. In complete contrast to the previous miles in the county, the city circuit will feature 19 technical turns. Positioning and bike handling will be critical. Upon reaching the finish line for the first time on Pratt Street, riders will see 4 laps to go on the 7.5-mile circuit. Racing through historic Baltimore City, riders will have to focus as they pass through the Inner Harbor, Little Italy, Harbor East, Fells Point tourist areas, before they ascend through Old Town and Mount Vernon, before circling Greenmount West neighborhood, and finally the fast descent down St. Paul Street. The final sprint for the finish line set up on East Pratt, a wide straightaway ideal for multiple team lead-out trains to pull their top sprinters into the perfect position. All told, the riders will have 120 miles in their legs as they cross the finish line after 5.5 hours in the saddle. It's going to be a great day. In addition, as Steve has mentioned, we've announced 9 world-class international teams already, comprised of top riders in the sport, as well as up-and-coming talent. It's very important that this event also support the growth of cycling and the youth of cycling, but they're all professional athletes. We will soon announce the remaining field of the 17 teams. All teams are comprised of 7 riders, including their staff and coaches who will be traveling here. And keep in mind, while a team may be registered from a certain country, it can be comprised of riders from various locations and countries as well. So easily we'll have riders from over 20 different countries compete in the inaugural event. So to date, we've announced World Tour teams, many that you see in all the top races around the world. Trek Segafredo from the United States, Team Bike Exchange Jayco from Australia, the UCI Pro Team, Human Powered Health from the United States, and then several UCI Continental teams, Hagen's Berman Axion from the United States, Legion of Los Angeles from the US, Yoleo Test Team from Canada, Team Medellin from Colombia, Team Coratec from Italy, and Team EvoPro from Ireland. Again, just want to thank everyone. Today's a pretty big day for us. Now the real work begins. I'd like to thank you for your time. Steve.
As we conclude the press conference, any media that is wanting a one-on-one with any of the members of the dais will handle the one-on-ones over here to my right, to your left. We will not be handling Q&A from the podium, but we will handle it off to the right. We'll do Q&A first, and then the team on the dais will go down and do the one last shot in front of the mural. And want to again thank everybody for coming today. This is going to be an exciting weekend, Labor Day weekend. Put it on your calendar, mark it now. Look for all the exciting things as news breaks between now and the middle of the summer. And don't forget, world-class events happen in world-class destinations, and we're excited to be a part of the Maryland Cycling Classic this Labor Day weekend. Thank you, everybody.
One final note, we've got decals with information on the back, and if you want to grab a t-shirt, we've got limited sizes, but you're welcome to grab